So I think we need an answer to the decades-old question. Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review.
So now the drink itself is quite sweet in nature. Well, hello. Hello. How are you doing?
A battle to the death.
The report of the week, affectionately known as Reviewbrah by his audience, has been making YouTube videos for 10 years now. If you haven't seen one of his videos yet, I would highly recommend it. It is a uniquely wonderful experience, and he is quite the character. You may notice his slicked back hair, his suits from the 80s or 90s. He's got long fingernails. He talks in a New York, almost mid-Atlantic radio-like accent. And in one single take, he'll introduce himself, detail a new food item, try it, and then give his opinion. That is so difficult to do. You know how many takes it took just to get that one sentence out? All the while, a new fast food item. All the while, his work is quite odd, yet alluring. There's something about his videos that takes you to an absurdly wholesome place. You may start out by asking, why is this gentleman presenting me with fast food? And then you'll ask, well, why am I watching this? 3 hours later, and you're yelling at your screen because Burger King, you haven't learned your lesson. Don't put so much mayo on your burgers. Our king doesn't like that. There's a sense of comfort you get from his videos. They're formulaic, but he keeps things fresh. He's a bit awkward, but there's something so charismatic about the way he conducts himself. NASA needs to broadcast his work out into deep space. Reviewbrah's role in society is much more than a fast food reviewer. You have to understand that Reviewbrah, above everything else, and I truly mean this, is courageous. Growing up, he's always had some unique interests and hobbies. I mentioned the old suits he likes to wear. He's also a fan of shortwave radio, a fairly obscure form of media that I still don't really comprehend fully. He likes to take long nighttime walks. He's a self-proclaimed introvert, socially awkward, and a bit of an outsider. But despite these things, he decided to share himself with the world. Now, I know sharing oneself isn't exactly unique to our young generation. Mackenzie, I don't need an update of why you haven't posted in 2 months, okay? Reviewbrah is a unique guy, and pretty early on, he understood that there were a lot of differences between himself and his peers. On his podcast, he talks about how he enjoys wearing suits. He just likes how they make him feel. And I completely know what he's talking about. I have this pair of underwear that just makes me feel super confident. But it wasn't until high school that Reviewbrah decided to wear suits to school. This decision was kind of risky. It would make him stand out, potentially put a target on his back, because not a lot of high schoolers are wearing 80s power suits. Okay. Besides already kind of being an outsider, he realized by wearing a suit, he wasn't hurting anyone else, and he enjoyed doing it. So he decided to wear a suit to school. And I'm starting to understand why. I feel so confident now. Now, okay, this isn't as courageous as your grandpappy who fought in World War II. But Reviewbrah's courage is different. It's the ability to stand up for individuality, even in the presence of social pressures. He started making YouTube videos at the young age of 13. His grandma is filming him review a 5-hour energy drink. He's got his suit on, of course. He has this adorable lisp, and you can tell he's already got that charisma down.
All right, have a good day.
At the beginning, not a lot of people watched his videos, and that was all right. He just enjoyed making them. He was able to practice his dream of becoming a radio broadcaster. Plus, he was lucky enough to have the internet as a platform. But, it's the internet. What did you think would happen? One of his videos blew up on Reddit, and of his new audience, the most vocal ones were primarily there ironically, seeking out all the weirdness so that they could cringe at it. Gaining a hostile audience out of nowhere was a bit anxiety-inducing, so he decided to take a break. And a couple months later, he came back and made more videos. Then 4chan began harassing him on multiple occasions, maybe even crossing the line into some illegal territory stuff. But every time, Reviewbrah would take a break when he needed to, and then come back with some more videos. It was a slow process, but his audience over time began to change, and the reception on his videos became more positive. His videos didn't change that much. He was a bit more self-aware, he got better at presenting, made more jokes, but for the most part, the community seemed to change. Maybe the audience just had time to grow up. Perhaps there were changes in culture or the platform itself. Or maybe by just putting out enough videos, and once you watched a certain amount, you would come to understand that Reviewbrah was a complex character. And hopefully you were able to understand what he learned early on in his life. He wasn't hurting anyone, and he was doing what he liked. In fact, he was doing the opposite. He was bringing joy to people by eating a chicken sandwich. Wouldn't you do the same? There's numerous reasons why his community changed so much, but if you look at it today, all the top comments are positive, or they're praising him, or they're memeing with him. Finally, people are appreciating his glow up. Reviewbrah is my spirit animal. I aspire to be as kind and as empathetic as he is. Even though the world can seem rather poopy sometimes, and the internet a bunch of feces-obsessed flies, for like 20 years now, there's this platform where courageous, weird people like Reviewbrah have been able to share their stories. Now, you can also find videos like this online, and a lot worse, but that doesn't really fit into my thesis. When someone as odd as the Report of the Week decides to share themselves, it's a really positive effect on society. It allows people to widen their perspectives a bit, and if you watch enough of Reviewbrah, you're able to put a human face to other people's ideas. It's about empathizing with the weird. I mean, we're all weird, right? Me, personally, kind of quirky, you know? I play guitar, I go to Starbucks, and I lock myself in the bathroom, scream. Great acoustics in there. It's society's job to deem what is acceptable behavior, aka reviewing a chicken sandwich in your car, and also what's not acceptable behavior, like murder. I like this aspect of human behavior because I don't want to get murdered. But from where I'm standing, the line that divides what is socially acceptable and what's taboo can be a bit blurred. And there are some things on one side that I think should be flipped to the other. So I subscribe to Reviewbrah's main philosophy. As long as you're not hurting other people, do you. But when you apply this concept to big ideas and the broader world, the moral framework becomes a lot more subjective. Like, what counts as hurting someone depends on who you ask. Any tough societal decision, abortion, military, police. When does our society say it's okay to kill people? I need to unwind. Visit Starbucks after this. The internet has helped humans discover that we have millions of reasons to not like each other. But it's also been one of the more successful tools in history to empower people from all walks of life. And while this aspect has been a double-edged sword, maybe more like a Darth Maul quadruple-edged sword? Jesus, did I really write that in the script? Having this much exposure to the world's most horrifying, beautiful, and weird has helped society sift through these moral questions. If you want to be optimistic, collectively, the internet is helping us move towards cracking the code to Reviewbrah's philosophy. Now, let me tell you, it's going to be a shit show for sure. I can guarantee you that. But those that are courageous enough to share their weirdness on the internet, if anything, will help society discuss what is morally right and morally wrong. So for Reviewbrah, when a lot of people began watching his videos, they decided to bully him because they believed what he did was cringy or awkward. But over time, that's changed. At least the people in his corner, including myself, deem his actions morally right. I'm hopeful the more people are exposed to other people's ideas online, the more accepting and empathetic they'll be of other people's peaceful passions. I know this may seem counterintuitive and grossly over-optimistic if you've read any discourse online, but personally, by consuming online media for some time now, the experience has lowered my expectations for humanity quite a bit. The bar I have for a moral person is pretty low. If you want to dress up as a dog, that's fine. And I don't think society should shame you for that. Maybe they can make fun of you. But hell, at least you're not shooting up a school, right? That's good for me. And you know what, Mackenzie? Your Facebook posts are important, okay? In a very small and detached sort of way, you are helping decide society's moral boundaries. And you also help us by showing what certain haircuts would look like on literal rats. There are those days where the world is going to seem grim. and you just don't have the energy to share yourself with it. But lucky for you and me, Taco Bell just released a new naked chicken chalupa. Let's go watch some Reviewbrah, see if it satisfies our king's appetite. I would die for Reviewbrah. I swear, if Burger King continues to put so much mayo on his burgers, I will kill again. There's too much mayo on there. I see it. What are you doing? The man doesn't like mayo. Have you seen his outdoor locations when he like shoots in his backyard or whatever? I think that's Eden. I think that's the Garden of Eden. There's no way that's Florida. I just realized if I wore like a turtleneck, I could pull off a Steve Jobs. I don't remember what Steve Jobs sounded like. Perhaps he was an evil Bond villain. British. Mr. Bond, dress like a dog and lick my butthole.